Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Joining us now is Senior Special Assistant to the President on Foreign Relations and the Diaspora. She served as a two-time member of the Nigerian House of Representatives from 2003 to 2007, or was it till 2015? And she's a renowned journalist. Welcome to the morning show, Abike Dabiri-Erewa. Good to see you.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure to have you here, ma'am. Thank you for joining us.
You look great. I mean, at a time when your party is under so much attack and stress and all of that, you look relaxed.
APC is the party to beat. I mean, it's the ruling party. We just had a very successful convention, and then we're looking forward.
You're already campaigning. The campaigns are
No, we're looking forward to victory. Come next year.
Let's start with this proposed Diaspora Investment Summit,
yes.
Which we are holding, I think, in November.
November 27 to 29.
Yeah, so you are inviting a lot of Nigerians in diaspora.
Yes, and friends of Nigerians
and friends
in
to
diaspora.
come and invest in Nigeria. Yeah. Why should anybody come and invest in Nigeria? Your government has not been able to solve the problem of infrastructure, of electricity, the ease of doing business. Yes, there's a little improvement because now, the visa regime has been further reviewed. But it still looks like a very difficult environment.
Any smart person knows this is the place to invest. And they are coming. They are coming in. In fact, Nigerians in the diaspora, their problem is, where do we go to? Who do we talk to? And we said, we are there for you to talk to. Already we have over 200 that have registered, and we haven't even started the advertisements. So you see, that is a wrong narrative. Yes, there are challenges, no doubt there are challenges. In terms of infrastructural development, President Buhari's administration has done so much in that regard. Yeah, there are still power issues, we agree, and it's being worked on, but any smart investor knows this is the place to be. And that's why they're all coming. And what we are saying is that if the Chinese are coming, the Europeans are coming, everybody is coming, why not the Nigerians in the diaspora who are doing so well? And when they invest in their country, the money stays here. Unlike those who invest and take the money out. And I tell you, the response has been overwhelming. In fact, when the president was in New York, they were saying it, that Mr. President, we want to invest in our country. We want to do ABCD. The ease of doing business has gotten better. And we're not saying it's a perfect situation yet. But if you wait for El Dorado, by the time you come, the train would have left you.
But what are your expectations with this summit in terms of takeaways, in terms of outcomes and follow-ups?
Oh, yes.
Because we hold all these
this will be, I agree with you, but we have various things we're focusing on, and they are coming with actualities, and they're being very realistic. And we also, there's a Nigerian in the U.S. who is an expert in transportation, and say, this is what I can do. So various fields, agriculture, transportation, healthcare.
There's a lot of, problems with the healthcare, especially with professionals. I mean, is that a target area for you guys?
We have a program called the Diaspora Professional Healthcare Initiative, and it's under the PRIDE program, what we call the Presidential Initiative for Diaspora Excellence. And we're getting all doctors together through the various associations, not just doctors, everybody in the medical field. And they have various associations. I mean, we've been holding a series of meetings. We're at almost the final stage. That's going to be a program that will have positive impact on healthcare in Nigeria. The doctors are abroad working with their colleagues here. It will soon be unveiled to the public. It's under the Federal Ministry of Health. And the ministry has a diaspora department headed by Dr. Oluwatoyin. So we've been doing a lot in that regard. So we're providing a platform where doctors in diaspora, they can even take a hospital and say, this is what I want to do with it. Some are saying when they're on their vacation or something, they want to come and spend it here and see what they can do. So they do medical missions and all that, but we're saying we can be more structured. So under the Diaspora Professional Healthcare Initiative, we're putting quite a lot of things together.
But an ordinary person listening to you will say, well, isn't this coming rather late in the day, considering the fact that one major concern with Nigerians is that, one, we have not even developed the right infrastructure for healthcare in Nigeria from the primary level to the tertiary level. And that, you important persons in government, you prefer to go abroad.
Well, it started in your time. It started in your time.
This interview is not about me. No. Just stay with the question.
All of us.
Just stay with the question.
If the healthcare, I remember, was it General Abacha that was saying our healthcare institutions have turned to mere consulting centers. They still remain that way till President Buhari came in. When people said the president went abroad for treatment, now nobody prays you don't know when they're going to fall ill. But he met, just as we met, a terrible system. And you know what? This administration is focusing on primary health care. And it's beginning to happen. What you should understand is it's going to take a while, but let's see gradual progress. And we're beginning to see it. It's going to take a while, but we're beginning to see it. The mess, the rot Nigeria was in is what this administration is trying to get us out of. So it's going to take a while. Don't let's pretend about it. Don't let's pretend about it. But I went to General Hospital Marina for my medicals, for my husband and I. And they were looking at us like, what are you doing here? But I'm telling you, it was a great experience because the facilities were there, the equipment were there. But we can do much better. And our doctors in the diaspora are also willing. We have the best doctors anywhere in the world. And they are so passionate now because they see a structure in place. And I also want to say they see an administration that, is encouraging them. So let's work together to make our country
this
better.
Investment, Diaspora Investment Summit, who are the other stakeholders involved? I imagine that it will be...
absolutely. Nigerian Investment Promotion Council, the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, the Infrastructure Regulatory Commission, and the Nigerian Diaspora Alumni Network, and the other diaspora organizations. So at least 5 of us are putting it together. And it's going to be the first of its type in Nigeria. We go all over the world asking them to come. We say, come home and see what you can do. And there'll be deal rooms. For instance, there's the guy who's fantastic in mining, to be the Minister of Mining, and maybe go to the state and say, listen, this is what I'm coming in. In America, a group of Nigerians had a $3 billion investment summit. They want to bring $3 billion to this country. So we're telling them you can invest here, there. So I look forward to a very successful summit.
It's good we're talking about Nigerians in diaspora and appreciating their value apart from the remittances of about 22 billion naira per annum.
Absolutely.
But these Nigerians in diaspora, they don't have voting rights. In 2012, you pushed a bill through as a member of the House of Reps.
Yes.
But nothing came out of it. In 2017, when you went to the University of Ibadan to participate in the conference, you also made this argument for diaspora voting. Where are we now with that issue? Is somebody taking the fight from where you left it off?
I was even with INEC not too long ago, and INEC said we're ready. The president has told them, I'm ready. But the National Assembly just has to amend the necessary laws. The reality is that those laws cannot be amended before 2019 elections.
Section 77 and Section 171, subsection 2.
And it's just a simple adjustment.
And what is the reason why it cannot
Well,
be
we
adjusted?
have to put pressure on the National Assembly. It's like they're just not comfortable enough. Some say, oh, well, we haven't gotten it right, in our elections. But the question is, if you can't wait forever. So I'm hoping that by 2019, the laws can be amended in such a way that by 2023, they won't like me for this Nigerians in diaspora. They want to hear 2019. But the reality is that no excuses after 2023 for Nigerians in diaspora not to be able to vote. I mean, they remit so much money to the country. They do so much. So it is their right. It's not a privilege, but a right. And I believe that, and I've told them, keep putting pressure on the National Assembly rather than dissipate energy on infighting. Dissipate energy on making this happen. And I know that it's not a question of if, it's just a question of when. And I hope that
I'm still going to ask you questions about Lagos politics, so be prepared. But let's stay on this, your federal government assignment first. Now, a lot of Nigerians overseas, and I see you are very active on Twitter, responding to Nigerians, asking questions about the welfare of Nigerians who are outside the country. Now, we have issues in Ghana with trade. We have issues in South Africa. The most recent one is the crisis with Nigerians in Kenya. Now, how much effort is the Nigerian government putting into protecting the interests of Nigerians in diaspora, beyond just issuing press releases?
A lot of efforts. Let's take it one by one. In South Africa, for the first time in all these years we've been having issues with them, 8 South African policemen have been arraigned. It has never happened.
Is that for the killing of
Yes, for the killing of some Nigerians,
yes.
8.
Right.
And we're monitoring the case. It has never happened. So it shows the intervention of Mr. President and our Consul General representing us there in South Africa. In Ghana, the Ghana issue, the traders issue, as you know, I remember I even intervened when I was in Parliament. Now, our president met the president of Ghana in New York, and he raised it with him. And he said he gave an instruction that day, and I remember September 27, that those shops would be reopened, but they were not. So they came back to me, and I informed Mr. President. And now Mr. President has directed the Vice President to constitute a high-powered ministerial delegation to go to Ghana and actually sit with them and ensure this is resolved. The issue of Kenya, 2 Nigerians, one was killed a few days ago, and we got on the case immediately. In fact, it was the Ambassador Momo, that actually announced to Nigerians that a Nigerian had been killed. So they are demanding full autopsy to know how he died. All we hear is, different stories. He was being chased by police. He jumped. So until investigations are concluded, so full autopsy. The ambassador has met the family, and they are working together. As I speak with you, well, it's early now, but I know he's meeting the Ministry of Foreign Affairs today. So we're not taking those issues lightly, and we don't. And I don't think any administration has intervened in the case of Nigerians in diaspora as much as this administration. There's no time that we have anything to do with Nigerians that we do not interfere. Sometimes if you commit a crime, there's nothing you can do. Like somebody writing me and saying, in China, can you tell them to transfer me from one prison to another prison? It's not possible. So we tell Nigerians abroad, please obey the laws of that country. Like in Kenya, they demonstrated, went to the embassy, were a bit, violent, but the ambassador called all of them, spoke to them for about 4 hours. And by the time he explained to them, they were cool and quiet. So it's about communication, which I think a lot of our envoys this time around are doing. So we do try our best and intervene virtually immediately. Like in Oman, when we got a distress call, the lady got back a few days later. We have another one that the ambassador is also working on. So we really do, government pays a lot of attention to our citizens everywhere.
With the killing of Hawa Liman, the 25-year-old lady,
aid worker,
Red Cross volunteer and all that. And then before her, Saifua, and then now we still have Leah Sharibu, and others still with the Boko Haram. Now, what is the government really doing? Because what the Minister of Information told us is that, well, we are saddened, we have been engaged in negotiations, but that doesn't really come across as convincing.
It's difficult to give details in matters like this.
But it's important for us to know the type of negotiation the federal government
Well, I'm sure the minister can, speak more on that. But, nobody will, Mr. President, nobody will be happy about that. But, these are complicated things. Terrorism and all that. I wish we never got to this level. But we found a situation where nothing was done in the past and we got to this level. But I believe that under this administration, by the grace of God, Leah Sharibu, we're all waiting for her to come into the warm embrace of all of us. Because she's everybody's daughter now. And I think she's a heroine for what she has done, for standing up for what she believes in. So we're all optimistic that is a terrorist matter. It's very complicated. All over the world, we're still dealing with the matter, and I believe that...
Do you see the possibility of the Red Cross and other humanitarian agencies saying, look, Nigeria is too dangerous, and turning their back on Nigeria?
Well, I hope not, because they know the situation. I hope not.
Well, how much quality interface do we have between your office and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs? I have my own concerns about the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the quality of effort that I have seen. I think at this moment, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is at its weakest point. And I see you being more proactive, responding and all of that.
I think I'll have to cut you there. I really don't think so. Yeah, maybe some bureaucratic bottlenecks, but I'm sure, we're all doing our best, within the circumstances we find ourselves. So, yes, I know, even sometimes there are bureaucratic bottlenecks, but you find a way of cutting that out and ensuring that you succeed. When we talk about taking, for instance, bringing Nigerians back from Libya, you can't allow any bureaucracy to not make that happen. And that, again, was the first time any administration would send such a high-power delegation to Libya. Because it's been happening. When I was in the parliament, it was the same thing, but President Buhari did what nobody had ever done. We went into the prisons and got them back, and it was a joint effort. So I don't think you're being fair.
Well, if I were to advise President Buhari, I would rather have you as Minister of Foreign Affairs.
That's unfair. I think
that's my opinion.
Well, that's your headache.
But let's talk
politics.
Let's talk politics, okay?
Okay.
Now, Lagos State. You are from Lagos State, right? Ikorodu.
With pride.
Yes, and your party, APC, has been having issues in Lagos.
What issues?
Over the gubernatorial primaries.
What issues?
Over gubernatorial primaries.
What issues?
The dictatorship of the Godfather.
Well, I disagree with you.
The disagreement over whether the governor should get a second time or not.
Yeah, but I was even at an event yesterday with the gubernatorial candidate. We had a function, one of our party leaders, and you could, everybody was just so. It's like he's already won. So let the people decide, I was on the field and I saw what happened. And the people actually came out to say, this is where we're going. So
even with all that confusion about whether the primaries took place or not, and the role of the Clement Abri panel that came from the National
You're
Working
asking
Committee.
me questions, but I can tell you about where I come from and what happened. I can tell you that in my constituency, people came out to line up and queued behind a particular person's picture. And I think, even the governor has accepted it, Governor Ambode, and he's moving on.
So that's another issue that I think that he's pointing out. They had the controversy earlier with the fact that he came out to actually...
I don't think you're asking the right question.
But see, I know you are talking for television, but I'm trying to get a certain...
I don't talk for television. I say what I talk for real.
I'm trying to get... information from you for our own enlightenment. Now, what do you see as a way forward? Sanwo-Olu has emerged as the APC candidate, and, you are a politician also.
I belong to the political class. I'm not a politician.
I don't want to hear that. Now, what's your long-term ambition? Are we likely to see you emerging as a deputy governorship choice?
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
No, but I hear that there's some toing and froing over who will be the eventual deputy governor of Lagos.
I'm not sure nobody. I definitely not toing and froing. I think definitely not me.
But if you are offered that position, eventually you will take it. What is the meaning of this?
I'll take anything. You see, you're serving. As I said, Diaspora, I'm doing a service to my country, to my nation. So whatever service I'll do, but I'm sure I'm not going to be the deputy governor of Lagos State 2019.
But what's your long-term ambition or wish?
I'm not contesting elections.
I know, but long-term.
To be president of Nigeria sometime.
Oh,
sometime.
We're talking to...
Oji, you have always been talking about women in politics.
Let's talk about women in politics.
But on a more serious note, I want to encourage Nigerian women to get involved, participate.
Okay.
Don't just sit back and say, oh, they've done it.
So let me tell you, numbers, according to the list... No, I don't think so. According to the list that was recently submitted to the INEC, right? Only 31 women, because you were a former House of Reps member, only 31 women were in the race for the 469 National Assembly seats. So isn't that like a huge step down? I mean, 469.
And it's very discouraging. Yeah. And it's actually, I haven't followed the figures, but I know it's going to get worse. And I've been having talks with fellow women that don't get discouraged, but I think it's getting worse. The political parties are not helping matters. The major political parties, both PDP and APC, are not helping matters, about women in politics. But also the women themselves should not sit back. You should be ready to take a risk. You should be ready to come in there. I mean, it's not easy. When I did it, people thought I was crazy. But looking back now, I have no regrets whatsoever. Dare to venture, dare to succeed. So it's very discouraging, but I think all of us need to work to make it better. So come the next few years, we're going to be doing a lot of mentoring and a lot of encouraging ourselves and a lot of saying, listen, go out there and give it a shot. So it's not right, but I don't know. It's not very pleasing.
Let's go back quickly to politics. Now, if you look at the figures, people are saying, well, it looks like 2019 will be a two-horse race between PDP and APC, despite the fact that these two parties are the most criticized in Nigeria. And if you look at the PDP side, they seem to have a strong team. And some analysts have said President Buhari has lost the South-South. He has lost the Southeast. He may not expect the kind of returns he had in the Southwest in 2015, or even in the North-Central region, or even in his own zone, the North, Northwest and Northeast. Do you think he really stands a chance winning the presidency in 2020.
Absolutely, I think so. And I
do
believe
an analysis for me.
You do an analysis. You've done your own, and that's your own analysis.
Yeah, I want to listen to
be analyzing while we're on the field working and getting to the grassroots. You see, President Buhari has a spiritual connection with the poor. I've seen it. Nobody needs to tell me about it. You see, they believe in him. They see him as the only person who is fighting for them. When we talk about poverty, we've always been poor. There's always the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer. But they see a man, for the first time, I was there when a lady got her 10,000 naira and she had never seen 2,000 naira in her life. And then somebody tells you why you give them 10,000 naira.
Trader money, you guys call it, right?
Well, whatever it is called. I was there when a woman actually, she had some beef, salad beef, or what was left for her to eat. When she got her trader money, she gave the delegation part of the, said, take my meat. This is my gift to you. Please pray for Buhari, pray for Osinbajo. You don't know what it is. You need to get to the grassroots and hear them. Wow. You see, the idea is how do you get more people out of poverty? The rich can't be getting richer and the poor getting poorer. So sit there and be doing your statistics while we are, getting to the grassroots, talking to the people, and ensuring that, we campaign based on what the president has done. Sanity is coming back to the system. We have to deal with the issue of corruption. The economy has to be fixed. And that is beginning to happen. It's going to take a while. And what we tell Nigerians is the continuity is important. It is necessary. We need to build this solid foundation and take Nigeria to the next level. And for the younger ones, it's to their advantage. After these 4 years of Mr. President, I'm happy at people like Kingsley Moghalu that are coming out, Showore.
Yes.
It's a good thing they're coming. They will not win. They know.
You are sure about that?
No, they will not win in 2019. They both know, but they've taken a good decision. Yeah. They've had the courage to come out, and they should not stop. So after 2019, just continue. You're going to see more new faces. You're going to see more people coming out to say, I want to participate. Because now you know that your votes can count. Now you know that just one vote can get you out of office.
Well,
so
Abike,
we keep encouraging people to do that.
One final question before you go. You just mentioned something about corruption. Now, recently the federal government announced Executive Order number 8, right? There is controversy over those executive orders and the choices that the government has made. But Executive Order number 8 is saying voluntary offshore assets recovery, recovery scheme, or is a refurbishment scheme, they call it, under which the government is saying that if you have assets overseas, you should declare them and you should pay tax so that you don't get punished for having assets overseas. And here you are, encouraging persons in diaspora to come home. Some of our colleagues in diaspora, some Nigerians in diaspora, they are disturbed. They say, look, if I'm a Nigerian abroad, I have assets, should I come and pay tax in Nigeria?
No. I haven't read the full...
the tax law talks about global income.
No, let me explain to you. I haven't read the full details of that EO8, but whatever, we have to do to tackle corruption, we just have to do it. Why you say Nigerians in diaspora? They are not thieves.
No,
they work for them.
Taxing
of your properties abroad, how did you get them? So pay also here. Like I said, I haven't read the details, but anything we need to do to tackle corruption, we need to do it. Corruption has killed our children. It has killed our system. That money is meant to build infrastructure, to take care of Nigerian people, to take care of healthcare, to take care of the poor Nigerians in need, not to be stolen. So whatever it takes to solve that problem, let us support President Buhari to do it. And, we should own it. We should own the battle, not him. So I don't know but whatever it is to tackle corruption, let us tackle it.
But the president seems to be the only one in the government fighting corruption.
Then we should be ashamed of ourselves. To say that as Nigerians, we should be ashamed of ourselves. We should come up, own the fight against corruption. If I keep telling the younger ones when I speak with them that this is your future. You keep saying he's 73 years old. Yes, he is. This is your future. He's trying to save your future. So why don't you join us and own it? Take ownership of it and save your country from corruption.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this segment.
Thank you very much.
It was such a pleasure to have you. And congratulations on everything that you have achieved so far.
Thank you very much.
Right. She's a great woman.
You used to be my friend.
I'm still your friend. It's not that you are in power. I'm powerless. Thank you,
Thank you so much.
Abike Dabiri-Erewa, for coming to the morning show.
Well, it's time now for a short break.